Deadline Live. I'm Jack Blood. Thanks for joining us on the program today, October 1st, 2008. On the air with me, Dylan Avery, creator of Loose Change, the most downloaded video on the internet, still to this day. And Cindy Sheehan, who is an icon here in this country, who began to turn the tide against the Bush administration and the multiple wars and multiple theaters that the PNAC group talked about. Of course, they needed a Pearl Harbor, a new Pearl Harbor to bring that all on. And Cynthia McKinney was also invited to speak at the event. Myself, Dylan Avery, of course, we all know this, and it would have been interesting to have all four of us addressing this in front of a crowd that I think would have received this concept and this idea with much bigger cheers than the Obama parade got when they begin with the Obama DJ and the Obama cuts. And, I mean, this was supposed to be an event for unity, and I can't think of anything more divisive than to bring in presidential politics into an event for consciousness, for awareness. That should have been banned. I mean, I don't look to ban anything, man. Let Obama himself get on stage and address the crowd if that's what he wants to do. But nothing should be banned. But if anything should be banned, it is this divisive political machine, entities that go from both sides. Now we know how deep it goes. Now we know how far they'll go to stop people like myself and Cindy Sheehan and Cynthia McKinney and Dylan Avery from speaking in front of the kids, because we have ideas that are contagious, and they would, I think, do very well to have heard what we were going to say. Cindy, if you can comment, Cindy Sheehan with us, if you can comment on, the 9/11 truth aspect of this. All of us are known for our very outspoken remarks on this particular issue. Do you think this had anything or nothing to do with this?
I don't have any idea. I think it probably had more to do with the fact that we're not, buying the Obama star wagon, that he's for hope and change or anything better than McCain or Bush. I have no idea. I think that the aspect of it that bothers me the most is, like you said, is that dissent or different, not even so much dissent, but different visions. We have our vision of the world is a world where truth can be told, where people don't feel that truth is subversive or that truth is, something that needs to be stifled. No matter what inconvenience it was to me or my campaign, I think the larger issue is that from the very top of this country, truth is being, it's being
eradicated.
Stopped. It's being erased, eradicated. A different vision that doesn't conform to the Democrat Republican model is being stifled, and that's one thing I've never ever claimed that I know for a certain fact that 9/11 is an inside job. But what I have said over and over and over again is that we have never, in a public way, gotten the truth. That the investigation was a sham. We've never had a valid investigation into 9/11. And I'm for the truth. And I don't, if the truth does come out and says it was an inside job, that won't surprise me. A lot of people in this country will be devastated because, they think that if our government does it, or if our government says something, it's the truth, or if our government does something, it's right. But a lot of times the truth is not easy to hear. But they can't treat us like we're children that can't handle knowing the truth. And there were young people there that can be easily propagandized into believing that everything our government says or does is the truth and right.
Cindy,
and
these people haven't been...
We three on this call know that that's not right.
These I'm not going to call them kids, young adults, many of them at this festival, hadn't been alive long enough to see anything but a Bush or a Clinton in office. I mean, they just don't know that it can be something different than that, and they're so sick of that they will, look at the guy on the white horse and say, it's okay. I think if I'd have brought Dylan on stage, which I was planning to do after the Fishbone set, we were going on. We literally got Cindy. We were on the stage I was in my orange Gitmo jumpsuit. We literally got pulled off the stage seconds before we were about to go. And I think that if I'd have mentioned loose change, the crowd would have went crazy because they all know what that is. Here's the interesting thing. You can say anything bad about Bush, who is going to be voted out of office, allegedly, next month.
Right.
You can say anything anti-Bush, anybody but Bush, but we are in a totally different situation now than we were 4 years ago. We saw what happened when we handed Congress to the Democrats, and they bidened their time and did absolutely nothing. And, I think that's where they lost myself, you, many of my audience who thought, and I work with these people all this time, helping them. And we gave you a chance to do something, and you didn't do anything.
Right.
Dylan, tell me about anti-Bush. Anything that you say that's anti-Bush or anybody but Bush is okay, as long as you don't mention any other names.
Hey, man, I was anti-war and I was anti-Bush before it was cool.
I was anti-Bush getting attacked by punk rock kids who were pro-Bush and pro-war. That's how bad things got.
Dude, I was anti-Bush before he was even in office.
Me too.
I was anti-Bush 1.
Yeah, well, yeah. what was it that you said when we were hanging out? You were so anti-Bush, you're anti-Reagan?
Yeah, right. 28 years of Bushes and Clintons. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe we found out that is the problem. Cindy, where do you go from here? First of all, these people have said they're going to make sure they're in discussion. They're getting legalities involved. They're going to make sure this never happens again to the We the People Festival. Number one, will you go back if they fix this problem? Number two, where do you go from here with your campaign? And please tell us what we can do to help.
Well, I've actually renamed it the We the Sheeple Festival. So I don't think that they can fix the problem if they're going to be so, if they're going to kowtow or bend over to the powers that be. And to be truthful and to be intellectually honest with ourselves, we have to challenge both sides of the problems, Democrats and Republicans, if we ever want true and relevant change. They could have said, yes, we can have the Obama rhetoric, but, these are our invited guests. We will hear what they have to say also. And I'm just really deeply disappointed because I would never have backed down.
Yeah.
I've been arrested 13 times standing up for truth, standing up for the Constitution, standing up for peace, standing up for everybody's right to free speech and to peaceably protest. I've never incited a riot. I've never called for armed revolution or anything violent. I'm a pacifist. I believe change has to come, in a nonviolent way. We can't lower ourselves to the power elite, or we can't take control of power violently because you just install violent regimes. And they know that. Antonio Villaraigosa, he knows that about me. Barack Obama, he knows that about me. I know both of these men. I was their hero when it was only George Bush and the Republicans I was speaking out. But when I call them on their complicity, when I call them on their sameness with the Republicans, then I start to go from their hero to their zero. And I believe that puts party over our country, and I don't think that that's right at any time.
Stay with us for a few more minutes on the other side, Cindy. I'd like you, if you can find your notes or remember what you were going to talk about at this event, I'd like to give you a chance to kind of give that speech that you were going to give at the We the People event. I know my listeners would want to hear it. Dylan Avery also with us. Stay tuned, folks. Deadline Live.